Joining me now in studio to help us understand what all of this means is Imran Ansari. He is a former Brooklyn prosecutor and an experienced trial lawyer. Also, we've got Mark Geragos with us, high-profile criminal defense attorney and host of the podcast Reasonable Doubt with Adam Carolla. We appreciate you being with us, both of you. Mark, I want to start with you. The first thing I noticed today, Mark, was that Kohberger, and this was the last time he was in court too, had the suit on. He came in a suit. He wasn't in the orange jumpsuit. He wasn't shackled. He didn't have handcuffs. And I get why you get to wear the suit during trial when the jury is there, because you don't want to look like a killer. That's only fair. But does it surprise you that he's allowed to wear the suit at this point?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. In fact, it's always been one of my bones of contention that if you're going to ban cameras from the courtroom or just do a B-roll, to do the B-roll while they're shackled and in a jumpsuit is highly prejudicial, because what will end up happening is that gets played over and over again, and that's what's burned into the collective memory. I think what happened here is, now that there's been a change in the camera situation, that they said, okay, we're also going to do a change in the fact that obviously there's great public interest in this, and since most of the public can't get into that courtroom, we're going to do what's appropriate and let him put on a suit and a tie and not shackle him.
Imran, have you seen anything like this? I mean, I was covering Murdoch. I've covered a lot of cases, and again, I see them in the suit during the trial, but I've never seen them get to wear the suit for every little hearing that pops up. And again, I'm just thinking of the victims' families here. I mean, you've got this guy accused of these awful crimes, killing 4 young people savagely. Does he really deserve to get to wear the suit every single time, not be shackled? He just looks like a normal guy in there.
Well, you want to have the perception of a fair trial. You need a fair trial. And the prosecution won't necessarily want to challenge any of that. If the defenses are going to say, all right, you're going to have cameras in the courtroom, we request that the defendant is going to be in a suit rather than an orange jumpsuit. And we have all eyes on that courtroom right now. Media, and not only the media, but the jury pool. So the prosecution, you don't want to push back on that, because ultimately you want a conviction that's going to stick if you get that conviction at trial. So even from the inception now, the pre-trial aspect of things, you want to be able to go pick a fair and impartial jury, get a conviction, and have that stick. So if the defense makes a motion or a request that their client be allowed to proceed at these pretrial hearings in a suit, it's for the benefit of all, the prosecution, the court, and the defendant.
Makes sense, and I guess there's bigger fights right now for the prosecution to fight, maybe just let this one slide. Mark, it's interesting, though, while we talk about the appearance of everything, one of the first things that the judge said today when the hearing started was he mentioned that he didn't want the camera to only be zoomed in on Bryan Kohberger's face, that he wanted there to also be wide shots, which I found to be interesting. Again, is this just him concerned that a possible jury pool is going to be analyzing everything, everywhere Bryan Kohberger looks? What do you think the reasoning is behind that?
I was very impressed with this. This shows that this judge has been very thoughtful about the cameras in the courtroom. There's always that perception, if you're the defense, if the camera is trained just on the defendant, and we've seen it even in some of these recent civil trials that have supersized, that you then are looking, God forbid somebody rolls their eyes or somebody rubs their head or something like that, or puts their hands down, all of a sudden that becomes the talk of the rest of the day. It's very smart, it's very perceptive, and I think it ensures, or at least helped ensure, a fair trial, or a more fair trial.
What did you think, Mark, of the new reporting today out of Pennsylvania, the arrest from 2014 that has now come to light when Bryan Kohberger was a young man, his dad actually basically having him arrested for stealing his sister's cell phone amid sort of a drug problem that was ongoing with Bryan? Do you think that that's going to have any kind of relevance to the case in Idaho?
This is one of those situations where the prosecution may have, be careful what you wish for. I have thought for months now that given what we know, at least what we think we know, that's been reported about what activities at that house, given the look on Kohberger, which I've seen many times, that there was and what's being reported now is a heroin addiction. That can actually, I think, be used or turned to the defense's benefit. And so I'm not so sure that they are going to get what they think they're going to get out of that, because generally this didn't end up as a conviction if the reporting is accurate. And I always caution if it's accurate. So they may not be able to use that unless he takes the stand, and even then it's not clear. But the defense may be able to say, hey, we have a situation. There's absolutely no DNA at the scene of his, other than the touch on the sheath. And by the way, that's going to be contested heavily. And he didn't bring back any to either his house or the car. And I've had many a case where somebody was charged with a murder and the blood was either on the mattress or in the car on the steering wheel. So it's unusual in a scene that was this horrific. They may end up saying, hey, this sheath could have been related to a drug transaction. He wasn't there. The lack of evidence showing that his cell phone wasn't on at that time, consistent with being asleep. The lack of DNA that connects him there. We know that he has a at least arguable pre-existing challenge with addiction. Maybe he fell off of the wagon. And by the way, you may see a defense expert who will say heroin addicts don't act out in this kind of a fashion.
Right, which is usually what the experts say.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.